Gorgeous. Let's go ahead and see what the collective needs to hear, what the collective needs to be knowing about the truth and truth only. I went ahead and grabbed my Mayan astrology cards. So let's see. And we're going to also grab the other astrology cards. What does the collective need to know? Ooh, red dragon. Okay, interesting. Yellow warrior. Okay, interesting. Red earth. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, white wind. Okay. All right, I see. All right, so we're just going to redirect from the book from these, since this is more of astrology related. Damn, transformation. Okay, this collective. Ooh, yellow star reverse. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and see what it is that this collective needs to hear. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this yellow warrior, actually the red dragon. The red dragon. All right, let me see. The red, my fur babe in outside, or is in the room, y'all. So if you hear him acting up, he's being a fur babe. Okay, let me see. Hold on, y'all. Okay, let me see. Red dragon. 58. Okay, 58. Okay. 58. All right, the red dragon. So this is where our mentality is at, or like, this is where our mental section is going on. This is where our mentality is at, things like that. The whole 9 yards, our air energy. Yes, if I'm correct. Yeah, okay. All right, so we have red dragon. Starting power, impulse power, symbol of femininity, carries all 4 elements, maternal and nurturing. The red dragon is the first archetype in the beginning of the Mayan calendar. Here, the feminine leadership of the system becomes clear. The maximum starting power lies in the quality of these days, because the red dragon is assigned to the element earth, red. But at the same time, it also carries all other elements within itself and is therefore nurturing on all levels. Anchoring the feminine principle back to the earth is appropriate on these days and should always be considered from the perspective of the prevailing wave, as each wave has its own basic theme and the qualities of the day are related to its theme. Red dragons are often very motherly and caring, and the more tasks they are allowed to nurture, the happier they are. For red dragons, doing nothing is the greatest punishment, because then they cannot be in their rhythm. So this, you know that you're not going to not act or not do anything, but you also know that when it's time for you to move, that is when you are going to do the rituals that you need to be doing and showing up the way that you need to be showing up, and no longer apologizing for showing up in those spaces as you are, in your whole identity, in your authentic whole identity, without apologizing anymore. Being your whimsical self, being your multifaceted, multi-face, multi-hatted self, right? Okay, without apologizing. Okay, so don't, if you know that you have a divine mission and you're gonna, answer that call one way or another, and even if you don't think that you're answering that call, you are answering that call. Even if it doesn't seem to make sense how these things are related, they are related, and in the grand scheme of things, it's gonna all make sense, and you're gonna realize you are actually taking care of multiple things at the same time. Okay, anyway, so doing nothing is the greatest punishment. Then they cannot be in their rhythm. They pitch in where support is needed and new projects are planned. When something seems to go wrong, they very quickly put everything back on track through their tireless strength. Even though the red dragon is family oriented and caring, they also need space to spread their wings. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the yellow warrior. 108. Okay, this is our core energy. 108. Okay. Natural authority, leadership quality, self-reliant, independent, self-confident, and intelligent. Yellow warrior days remind us of the balance of the heart and head, always in relation to the theme of the current wave. Connecting one's inner knowing of oneself brings insights without struggle. Sovereign instead of warlike. Also, clear communication is now desired. Please note, the more we think about our first feelings, impulses, and consider what we do now and how to address something, the more our subsequent actions become distorted. We intentionally try to perceive our own feelings. This is tricky and not always easy and strict exercise. We could do it every 20 days. Yellow warriors have an innate strong intuition and strong connection to their own knowing. They can bring about deep change with their logic that connects everything. Like a walking encyclopedia, they can draw on all the knowledge they have acquired, even across time and space, and also experience in their power. They know about their knowledge and live in it sovereignly and in a true role model function. Pull on your Akashic record energy, because you have access to that inner wisdom knowledge that you've been doing for a really long time, and I'm proud of you. Okay, so pull on that. Don't be afraid to tap into that. You're like an encyclopedia of knowledge. Okay, they know about their knowledge and live in it sovereignly in a true role model function. This could be in high priestess energy. Okay, wearing that crown finally. They always make sure that heart and head are connected. They show us that any struggle against others is always a struggle against ourselves and our inner authority, and that we must give up this struggle to be a sovereign being, because you are ready to elevate. You are ready to move on. You are tired of being chained and bind, by these, people essentially. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that, and that could be like our Capricorn, Saturnian energy. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. Interesting. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on and continue. Okay, red earth. All right, where the spirit is living. Okay, our emotions, and then where our physical body is going through a transformation of sorts. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. All right, red earth, continuing 112. Perfect. It's the next page. Primal confidence and worldly synchronicity. Practical, successful, and energetic. This is your team and also your inner knowing guiding you towards the better. Finally, you have attuned to the right frequency and you are going to be bringing this to your physical energy. Okay, this is your energy for real. Okay, so just be aware of that. Successful, energetic, very secure, and productive. Red earth days connect us with the world we live in. They encourage us to actively shape our own lives. To do this, we need to understand the energy always following attention. These days bring us what we have anchored in the past. If we anchored primordial trust in ourselves, then our energy flows this trust and we draw the corresponding people. Hyper fixate on the word primordial, because we do give primordial trust to earth. We give primordial trust to the goddesses. Sometimes we give primordial trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a lot of trust that is given, and so you can look to give yourself that type of trust as well, because you've earned it with the intuition that is on your freaking shoulders, on your whole being, in your DNA, right? Okay, so just be aware of that. Experiencing it into our lives synchronously with it. If we live with insecurity and fear, because this is what anchored in us, then the corresponding people and experiences that show up in our life synchronizes. Okay. Red earth types are the doers among the archetypes. They are active, productive, and determined without showing any semblance of effort, because they do without thinking much about it. Absolute success types who master synchronicity to perfection without constantly talking about it. They are people for the rough framework. You don't have to do all of the manifesting work that you used to once have to do, because they heard your prayers, that you were understand that you are like now synchronized in, and you move accordingly. Okay, so just be aware of that. All right, we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this. I love you. Bye.